Greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. Thank you for joining me again for another stream. A moment for us to talk about disappointment. Yeah. Very apt that we talk about disappointment. Our tree yesterday got yeeted. Unfortunately, the roots started to encroach on our house. I mean, it was growing underneath our house for decades, actual decades. And then it lifted one of the bricks up a little bit, and then a chainsaw got taken to its root system. And yesterday, weirdly enough, after a conversation me and Rido had, I actually told him I'm actually surprised that the tree is still standing up, having lost, a third of its roots. And he was like, nah, it has more than enough other roots left. And then we had like a crazy hailstorm last night where it was like coming sideways. We have some kitties joining us as well. Kitty's there, Puppy as well, and another kitty there guarding me right now, keeping the space sacred. I'm very grateful for that. And yeah, now the tree is on its side. Hey Crayon, hey Jordan, Shannon, Knucklehead too. So many of our friends joining us on you now. Love you, friends. Thank you for joining us here too. Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to figure out how to deal with disappointment. Like this breaks my heart. Dude. This is like one of the most upsetting things to me this entire year. You know, my computer has broken, and I feel like I'd lose 50 computers before losing one tree. The cat feels your distress. It's cute. They do. They're all guarding me. Holding space for me too. I really appreciate the little critters. Even Gingy is vibing right now. I'll be back in a second. I forgot a pen. I'm gonna get myself some water as well. Here we go. Naren, what a trip, dear friend. 2 days in a row. It's nice seeing you, man. How are you doing, dear friend? Tell me, how have you been dealing with disappointment, Naren? When projects don't work out the way you hoped they would. Added some thieves oil, dear Shan. When projects don't work out the way you think they would, or when things just break, right? When you're forced to deal with extreme disappointment, how do you deal? What do you do? You accept, I guess. All right, accept. Accept. I accept, universe. I accept. Maybe that's the wisdom that I need. Maybe learning how to use this wisdom will allow me to become magical. Maybe the magical will help me become enlightened. Maybe enlightenment will help me be more of a gift. Sure. Some runes as well. Sam, thank you for joining us here too, dear friend. I'm so sorry about the tree melt. A tree came down in my yard from a storm, and we had to. And all I could think of was touching the top branches. They've been so high in the sky, and now, in a way, I can touch the sky. That's actually pretty beautiful. I like that. I just feel for this tree. I feel like it is, in a way, crying. Actually crying. Like it got hurt. Man, this sucks. Any chance your dad will be able to put solar on that once the shaded roof now? Weirdly enough, that's the first thing me and my younger brother Rido actually, said as well. Was like, oh well, now there's space solar on the roof. Because we had that a part of the conversation about the tree where I was like, we can't actually put solar on this roof because this tree will shade so much of it for so long, unfortunately. So yeah. Maybe that's the manifestation we have to kind of like allow now. That it isn't a bad thing. It's just making space for some solar to be on the roof. could help for an extra layer of shading as well. So maybe it's a 100% silver lining. Yeah, cutsy cuts. Yeah, cutsy cuts. Mm. Yeah. Accept. What a good intention to write for. Just to accept whatever is. To not fight it. To not try and stop it. But to be with it. To be with it. To not wish for things to be differently. That's been on my mind. Yo, I'm wishing. I'm wishing so hard. You know, what if this, what if that? You know, couldn't it be differently? Couldn't it be somewhere else? But no. No. This is the way it is. I also added some peace and calming, Shan, if you're curious. Hey Dolch, thank you for joining us. Good things. Good things making way for other good things, yes. And weirdly enough, and I shared this in the yoga as well, so you, Shannon, Sam, and Ryan would know. But if it wasn't for all of the rain we've been getting prior to last night's rainstorm, the soil wouldn't be as wet and as malleable for this tree to move. And if it wasn't for the rain we got, the tree wouldn't be able to move. So there's only good things, technically, right? So much rain and then so much more rain that the morning comment disappeared. This started happening on Arpan streams as well. No, unfortunately, I don't even know if you can use any bots on YouTube. Unfortunately, I think if there's any bots, it's probably YouTube bots themselves. It's nice having you here, Maxine. Thank you for joining us, friend. Like a thing that can happen though is just like a packet loss, where if you send the message and some sort of wackiness happens on the server side, it just doesn't get delivered. You just resend the same message probably. Except everything. I feel I'll write everything on the inside, on the outside. Accept everything. Accept everything. Everything is acceptable. Yeah, it's a cuts. Yeah, it's a keys. That's mine. That's my water. That's my water. That's my water. You're so cute. Thank you, Dolch. I appreciate your love, friend. I miss Arpan. Me too, Yash. Me too, dude. Arpan was a vibe. It was like a rare gem in the rough, you know, and it got taken from us. Taken. I peace and calm myself before yoga. There we go. Synchronicities. Flies and tinfoil head covering. It must be your assigned agent, Maxine. Start stocking up in tripod. Corey is here too. Ah, yes, disappointment. The thing my parents were always instead of mad. Yeah, that's too real, Corey. That's too real, dude. Gluten-free pasta. Jovan is here too. Love you, friend. Me too. I made the sacrifice of mac and cheese though. I saw that Tumblr started doing their own RPAN, but it's only US so far. Okay. Maybe they'll do it better. I really don't understand why RPAN would kill it, right? I guess I do understand from the perspective of an infrastructure problem, but I don't understand from a future possibility, you know, point of view. It's really melting my brain. Last year, in my most disappointing phase, I found this space on Reddit and it helped me a lot. The acceptance only came much later in the months. I am not sure of what I have done consciously, but things seems much better now. You've grown. You've grown, Naren, and I appreciate you for doing that, friend. I think we just got a new friend in the YouTube, Siru, saying, wow, on my alternate account on YouTube for the first time in ages, but I won't say my Reddit name yet, maybe. Nice to see you. Nice to see you too, friend. How nice of you to find us again. Join us in this space. I don't exactly know how long it's been, but it's probably been a while, right? And yet here we are, again in the same now. I've been thinking a lot about if I'm whether or not whether I'm disappointing others. You know, I've been in a state of self-doubt the last couple of weeks about who I think I am, right? Who am I? Am I a good person? Am I kind? This cat is so horny right now, yo. It's making me a little bit uncomfortable. I've been reminding myself that I'm here for acceptance. That I can be disappointed by other things as well. And I shouldn't even be disappointed by it. Like, I don't know. This is the only cat that's not fixed, apparently. And Ginger, I think, is too old to be interested. So Sondai, so the cat's just screaming, making little mouth sounds, and really, really infatuated with me. Hmm, sakats, sakats. Hmm, what you doing, a kitty cat? Roxy, she's a happy cat, at least. All right. I'm like, how do I explain to her? How do I explain to her? No, you cannot be helped by me. Joy Vive, there she is. I was looking for you, friend. It's nice having you here. Corey, I finally listened slash watched the video you tagged Maxine in on the hill and the Aurora concert and the game, and you respond, I thoroughly enjoyed. Thank you for tagging me, right? That's the kind of stuff we can do, Shan. That's the kind of stuff that we're heading into right now. Like, we're going to be able to build experiences completely beyond what we used to be able to have. Right. And it's not going to make the experiences we've had any less, but it is going to open us up to learning things, experiencing our humanity, conversations with others in a medium that is not this. We're growing as a species, and these type of experiences are a part of it. New and novel ways of interacting as humanity. Well, howdy, stranger. Siru, again, love to you. Joy V, so nice having you. No worries, Shannon. It was very moving for me. Sent chills through my body and made me cry in a way that felt so good. Grateful. Grateful, hopeful, anticipating good things. Right? Like, that really is something that's in short supply these days. We can all use some more hope, use some more accepting of everything. Reminding myself of the intention set on this joint. I think that's good. I don't know if I'm going to add any more. Skingling, 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 bingling. Yes, Corey, I cried a lot. It felt healing. Melting. Melting old parts of ourselves, embracing new ones. Yeah, I'm going to read this one, even though we've read it so many times before. Commitment is nothing more than a deliberate decision that something will be so. And I do believe this space, us as a community, have committed to being kind, right? To being decent human beings, being accepting, even in the face of disappointment, right? And it's not always easy. It's not always easy, but we're getting pretty good at it. Mel, do you ever consider being a performance psychologist? That seems like it would be right up your alley. A performance psychologist. A performance psychologist. I don't know what that is even, Crayon. That sounds pretty sick, though. Maybe. Maybe. Like, the way that I am interpreting performance psychologist is you help people based on their performance, right? They come to you almost like, it sounds like life coaching a little bit as well. I'm actually studying a life coaching course right now, but to coach my own life a little bit, I haven't really considered offering it as a service. I don't know if I'm skilled enough to be able to proactive versus reactive, kind of like life coaching. Yeah, I have. I actually have considered doing that. And it's hard for me because I feel like I do that naturally, right? And people don't actually like that if they don't want to do any growth or do any work. So it's been a dual sword. Thank you for that encouragement, Crayon. I do appreciate that. The song Through the Eyes of a Child really did me in. I thought of this morning yoga. We do child's pose. We're gonna be okay. We are all gonna be okay. We're not done. The disappointment isn't gonna stop us. I think you could totally be a spiritual psychologist, Melty. Your internal drive to help others would only lead you to success. Thank you, friends. Like I guess I'm just worried I disappoint you, right? And like I was thinking about that quite a little bit, like reaching out to friends and asking them if they would want to set up like a monthly, like I don't know if coaching call is the right thing, but a monthly like grounding call, maybe. I have like 4 Sundays a month that I can maybe use for that. Could be something nice. But then again, there's the whole financial impact. We're getting there, getting better and better. For now, I'm going to accept everything. Mm. Sucking air through it unlit, you can taste that peace and calming. Tastes kind of orangey. So nice. Mm-mm. That's so badly lit. Sacrilege. Wanted to start a men's group. I call it the Brain Trust, encouraging each other to be our best in life, relationships, business, etc. You wanted to? What's stopping you, Crayon? What's stopping you from starting, dear friend? Probably the worry of whether or not other people will participate. I feel in a way this stream is that for me too, right? Not necessarily a men's group, just a group. But the thing that kind of like was worrying me at first is I had this question in myself of why would anybody care? Why would someone listen at all? Why would someone want to join the group? And it stopped me for a long time from actually starting until I realized that I can show up alone, technically, and still remind myself of being my best in life, relationships, business. Weirdly enough, a massive part of these streams are about relationships. And that's why I try to share as much as I possibly can, especially when I don't feel great in the relationships I'm going through. Because I know and I understand that I'm not the only one going through these things. And I feel it's important for us to talk about how we feel sometimes, even when those feelings aren't necessarily positive. Even when those feelings can seem repetitive, annoying, even to listen to, right? And I hope that it's balanced. I hope that I don't do it, into excess. But it is something that helps us grow as well. You're completely right, dear friend. It's awesome, Shannon. Oh, I think I missed a few. Goodness. Speaking of courses, I'm excited to share that yesterday I officially registered for the final level of becoming a registered bachelor MD practitioner. The medicine mother is becoming awakened. I'm hanging for a few, but we'll say goodbye for now. I'll have to get quick when it's time to go. Love you, friend. Thank you for joining me for as long as you did. I appreciate your time and your essence. It's awesome. I finished my mindful certification. Now I'm working on my yin yoga instructor course. Yeah. That's so cool, Corey. Much love, my brother. Much love to you. Thank you for spending some time with us, dear friend. I'm lighting up one on the other side of the world with you, to accepting everything, friend. And it's so paradoxical when I say those words, but I know I'm supposed to be reminding myself of that because there's a lot of things that we don't want to accept, right? There's a bunch of things we shouldn't be accepting, right? But in this very moment, I can be in a state of turmoil, outrage because of how bad things are out there, or I can accept, you know, one seems easier than the other on me, right? On the mental energy that I'll have to expend. To you, Naren, you're a part of everything, so I accept you. Thank you for accepting me too, friend. I've been I've been experiencing a lot of self-hate as of late. Like I have this story in my head that I'm not actually a nice person to spend time with. That the things I'm interested in make people uncomfortable. That the way I encourage people feel like they're less than. And I'm trying to be better. I don't understand why I'm having a hard time, why it's hard for me to connect with people. Right? And that's, I guess, why I was so driven to really consolidate this understanding of unity. You know, that everyone is the same quintessential consciousness peering from behind their eyes. But we see differently. I can be saying something meaning nothing but love with every single word that I speak, and the way that it's received can be seen as disapproval. Like, we had a conversation with my grandma at the dinner table where she she was raising her hand to speak, and she went into like I don't know if tantrum is the right word, but like a hard place, complaining that she doesn't feel heard, right? And she shared that when she was a little girl, her brothers didn't make her feel heard, and when she was a teacher, her colleagues didn't make her feel heard. And even though we were listening to her, we didn't agree with the things she said. Like, one of the things, like the conversation we had leading up to her saying that is miss out. You know, like saying, "Oh no, I don't want to miss out on that thing." Right? We have a direct translation of cons that goes miss out. I've only ate missni. I don't want to out miss. That's technically how we said. But miss can also be a word for like cow dung, and out can mean to evacuate. And my grandma goes, "You shouldn't say I've only opted eight misni. You should say something else, because saying eight miss means to evacuate your bowels." And we're like, "No." No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean that. And we're not gonna stop using the terminology miss out because of what you believe it means. And then she's like, "Oh, I don't feel heard." And we had this conversation about holding on to old traumas while at the same time feeling unheard when other people don't listen, or when other people don't like. And I feel like maybe that's the interpretation, like, oh, because this person isn't agreeing with me, they're not listening to me, when that's not necessarily the case, right? Sometimes people will listen to you and still disagree with you. And to learn how to accept that within this accepting of everything is a powerful skill to gain. And you know, you can be a grandma and it can still be hard. Ceaselessly learning, aren't we? Not today, but sometime soon. Can I guest with you? That would be nice, Crayon. The only problem is that there's probably going to be an extreme amount of echoing happening, where you'll hear yourself every single time you speak over over the speaker next to the microphone. We tried it with another friend yesterday, and it was a little bit hard. I'd love to share my journey so far. I'd love to hear it as well. Like I'm guessing that the feature might get better, maybe if I'm wearing Bluetooth earphones. But the problem is, as soon as I connect Bluetooth earphones to these devices, it starts using that as a microphone source, and I'm using a microphone source right now. Maybe, and then if I'm using a Bluetooth earphone, our friends won't be able to hear you. But if our friends can't hear you, you can't hear you. It's, yeah. We figured it out, put my headphones in. The problem isn't your headphones, the problem is my headphones, right? Because either our friends will be able to hear you as well through the speaker, which means it'll be next to the microphone that you have to hear me with. Maybe I could mute myself while you're talking, and then I can unmute myself and you mute yourself. Well, yeah, the technology is still getting better, friend. Eventually, I'll be able to open a door and let you in, and you can sit next to me in cyberspace, and we can have a conversation like we're doing it in person. We're taking steps. We're getting there. This is what we have right now. I appreciate you inviting yourself, dear friend. I would love to have you on as well. This is as good as it gets right now. This is as good as it gets. We've tried. We tried with Gary Lee as well the other day, you know, and we had the exact same problem even on YouTube. Got to go. Time to go. Keep being you. Love you, friend. Thank you for joining us for spending some time. I actually sent Gary a message today, trying to confirm when we have a podcast together. We want to do a podcast close to the end of the year, so close to now. You know, it's kind of like recapping what we learned this year. Congrats, my dude. Thanks, Corey. That's awesome. We love you, friends. Thank you for getting better, getting stronger, growing more. Shanansky, every time I hear, ooh, noise. Every time I hear that song, it makes me think of how Fruit Cup must see things, and how every time I feel her touch, it makes me feel so valuable. In her life, you're everything, Corey, right? You are her everything right now, literally. So, yes, uber valuable. Growth takes time, Melty. I think back to your first stream up until now, you have so many more subscribers and daily followers, friends who show up for you because you show up for us. Thank you, Maxine. I I worry about paying attention to stuff like that because I feel it might be a dual cutting sword, right? One day 20 friends show up. The other day, only 8 friends show up. You know, am I 12 friends less of a person? All right, that's a lot. That's a lot of friends. You know, that's so many friends. You know, it's like, imagine you have a birthday party. I know it's not exactly that significant, but you have a birthday party, and one year you have 20 friends show up, and then the next year only 8. You know, what happened? What? I know. You know. That's so I stop myself from thinking about it, and I just say hi to you friends as individuals. That's why I feel, you know, the fact that we can say hi to each other, the realization that you exist, right? The acknowledgement that you exist and that you spend that existence, even a moment of it, with me. Jovan, love to you, dear friend. Thank you for joining us. Battling intrusive thoughts can be such a challenge. Thankful we're more equipped to. but even more than that, we have access to each other, right? That the information we get from the internet is basically just an extension of each other, of ourselves. When I first started practicing my manifestation, Joe, my thoughts ramped up and attacked me, most times burning my spirit into the ground, emotionally regulating. Emotional regulation and mindsets are key to making them stop. I agree. Mindset, right? What is it you believe about yourself? And in the same way you could have convinced yourself what you believe about yourself right now over the last X amount of years you've been alive for, right? We can say multiple decades. Multiple decades of life have led to the mindset you have right now. To expect yourself to change your entire mindset right now is unreasonable. It's gonna take some time. It can take years. It can take decades again for you to change the mindset of what you believe about yourself. And that shouldn't be seen as something discouraging, but a reminder to yourself that you're doing fine. That if you've seen a percentage of change your entire journey into spirituality, manifestation, mindfulness, that is massive. That is massive. Keep growing. Keep showing up for yourself. Actually figure out who you are, right? Not your job, not the things you like, not the way you interact with people, but the way you are when you are completely by yourself. Right? How much of that experience is being, I want to say, catered for, right? Like there's this experience of self, of yourself, of your thoughts, the intrusive ones as well, the self reflection, the contemplation, the reflection of your behaviors and how they influence and affect your life. And all of that can be very uncomfortable. And then there is the potential to have high dopamine, sometimes very entertaining distractions. It definitely is a process because the distractions aren't evil. They're not. They're there for a reason too. And your negative, even intrusive thoughts aren't evil as well. They're just a part of this experience. If anything, just try and balance those negative, those intrusive thoughts. See it as a call sign, as an opportunity to remind yourself of something of the opposite, right? Uh, you know, this person said this thing to me. Fuck them, right? Sure, have that intrusive thought. How about this person said this thing to me? I forgive them and I accept that that thing had happened. All right, almost like you're correcting yourself, like you're rephrasing this intrusive thought you just had to yourself. That's at least, one of the biggest keys to changing the mindset for me. Mindfulness has probably been one of the hardest things I've practiced. There we go, literally on the topic as well. It feels so overwhelming sometimes, trying to understand each thought, understanding that you don't need to explore everyone, that they come and go, that they really come and go, that you don't have to be attached, that you shouldn't at first, right from the get-go, have a thought and think, I am having this thought. It's me, right? This is me. Because we get so caught up because the thoughts happen inside your brain that that is who you are. Right? And you're everything. So we could go into that trip as well. But you're the one aware of the thoughts. You're just like in the same way you sometimes don't assume yourself to be a part of the clouds. You're aware of the clouds, part and parcel too, right? If that cloud comes over me and starts raining on me, I'll get wet. get to breathe oxygen, produced by the trees around me. Like it's a it's a ceaseless balance, mindfulness, right? And then I have to be mindful of being mindful, of my mindfulness. So like be mindful to mindfulness. Yeah, it really is. And some people would just rather not, right? We would rather at least consider our way of living to be more simple and being mindful. Like there are other things to do. I have other things to do than think about what I'm doing. Right? And it makes completely sense, right? I'm going to work to make money to afford the lifestyle. I want this nice car. I'm gonna go and do this job. Do it. Why? And stopping and asking why do I want the car? What's the car gonna do differently to the car I have right now? And why would I do all of that when I have to do the work to buy the car? Right? But then it becomes this perpetual loop of never actually taking the time to consider why we do the things we do at all. And then we become, I'm not saying we do, but I've seen it over and over again. We can become shells of ourselves. All right. Like instead of you used to be a full and happy person, and then you figured out that you could do a certain set of things. And then doing this set of things allowed you to continue doing that set of things. And then instead of just doing that set of things and still being yourself, you become the set of things that you do, right? And I'm thinking of as like in latent space, a three-dimensional shape. You can be this beautiful, self-transforming three-dimensional shape, right? And then there's an outside layer that is visible. And then maybe the outside layer that is visible is the job that you do, the way that you live, the food you eat, etc., the things that can be seen, if you will, right? And then you figure out that being that way is appreciated, accepted, maybe. And then you lose all of the internal goings on, all of the stuff that led you to that certain pattern. And we can forget who we are. We can feel we are the surface layer instead of realizing that we are the infinite depth going down as well. And I'm trying to understand that potential in myself to only do things for the sake of doing them, for the sake of appearances, right? Mindfulness. Do different things. Do things that sometimes, conflict with the appearance. Do things that embarrass yourself, especially. Try it. Do things that feel hard. Do things that make you uncomfortable. It kind of like restimulates that depth. Thank you for taking me down that rabbit hole, Brother Corey. Have you tried sleep affirmation tracks, Corey? They've helped me integrate new thoughts seamlessly into my new self concepts. The conscious, right, is a fraction of full consciousness that is the subconscious as well. Like you're subconsciously processing a lot of information. Like my facial expressions, my hand movements, my breathing in and out, my heartbeat, my digestive tract, my blood flow, the cells rejuvenating themselves. There's so much subconscious stuff happening ceaselessly, and then there is this conscious experience as well. So reprogramming that subconscious self makes for a lot more impact than the conscious self sometimes. Completely agree. Thank you for the recommendation again, dear Maxine. Would love to hear more beans. Go and check it out. Connor is here too. Ramdas said something that resonates deeply about that, Corey. I'm mad at actions, not the being. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna keep that one in the back pocket. Tuners, I hear you, Beansy. Always a good reminder to refocus. Absolutely. To Make sure the person knows that you're not the one at fault. The action is. Missed you all. Missed you too. 2023 is the year of truth and love. I see it, dude. We're going to make it happen. We're going to show up in a way we haven't before. Love you guys. Can't stick around, Joshua, because I'm building a fence today. But I wanted to stop and spread a little love. Thank you, dear friend. Sending that love right back to you. It's nice having you here. How did the trampoline go? Awesome. Thank you for the love. Goes well. No, Mel, I want to change right now. I want to wake up tomorrow and be perfect. Years, years. Years, Corey. No, that's Carter. Yeah, I feel like it's perfect that you're here for this, dear friend. I feel that too. It's hard to remember. Being perfect is subjective. Your idea of perfect is different than mine, even though there will be similarities. There will be similarities and synchronicities that we can all kind of agree unanimously are good, right? But at the same time, we can become conscious of things and start doing something. But as soon as we get decision fatigue, right? As soon as we go through that conscious hyper focus for a long time, we revert back to the subconscious behavior. And that subconscious behavior is the real thing that we're fighting, the thing that we're trying to overcome. And it takes time. It takes so much time because it took so much time to get you there in the first place as well. And you're not evil for struggling. You're human. And you're trying, which is more than a lot of people can say. We're actually trying to be better people, better role models to our families and our friends, our children, more kind to ourselves, more aware of our own unserving stories, more willing to admit to ourselves that we are one. Love you, water. Mm. The amount of sounds. I don't know how many of them you can hear. You hear those little frogs? That sound makes my brain happy. Golf time, does it go? Mindset change could do that for you tunes. You wake up every day perfect as you are, with the goal of becoming perfecter. Perfecter. True facts. I was kidding, but you were right. That the only thing stopping us is our mindset. Your perspective of yourself is essential to self growth. Yeah. Like you need to become identified. All right. Create an anti-vision. If you want to be something, also create the thing you don't want to be, for example. Like the anger we have in ourselves can be channeled for good. You can choose to believe that one version of yourself is worthy and another version of yourself is to be disdained. All right. And then you drive away from that. You move in the opposite direction. Mindset, dude. Oh goodness. My mind is going through a bunch of trips. See, Uncle Beck is here too, saying happy day, glad to catch today's stream, glad to have you here. Uncle Becky, we're talking about disappointment a little bit, dude. You want to tell us? You want to tell us how to deal better with disappointment? I'm back and safe at home from my pilgrimage. When we build expectations, we're actually building walls of our own entrapment. Expectations are resentments in the making. Yeah, exactly. And expectations beget suffering, right? Like it really is this experience of, I loved how you said it, like walls of our own entrapment. You're creating a simulacrum in the universe where your anger, your suffering becomes a potential, right? Before setting the expectation, that suffering doesn't exist. And then you're like, it's warm, opening the portal. It's trippy even. I learned that one the hard way. And it's beautiful, Brother Bear. Thank you for sharing that wisdom with us. That's a good one. Thank you. Right? This is how we all grow together. Raising the collective consciousness. Being aware of your actions can be a trip sometimes. Being aware of your walking and how it feels in your feet, your knees and hips, and back through to your neck and shoulders. I feel like I'm too aware, but at the same time, it's such an amazing experience that you can immerse yourself into that experience. But it seems like once I'm aware of my awareness, I lose it. You basically complete the loop, and then it's your ego's job to convince you again that you're separate. Because if you completely understood and believed your ceaseless unity, you probably would, just go and sit and meditate next to a river, eat what may come, right? Like, and I'm obviously joking, but you would not have a worry in the world. Your ego wouldn't have ground to stand on to convince you to try and stay alive, to survive, to take care of your responsibilities. Your ego is scared of dying. Its job is to be like, I'm Corey. That's who I am. I promise. I know it. I've been Corey my whole life. It's me. I feel like that all the time, Corey. Feel like everything all the time. Yeah. And accepting all of that everything is the best skill, to learn when you're in that state of mindfulness. I agree that trying is better than most of humanity at this moment. A lot of people I talk to nowadays are extremely negative towards the future and themselves. Like you said, we have to set examples, and it's a little bit of a trip, because I'm flawed. I'm flawed. I make mistakes all the time. So, do I want people to take me as an example? Would the world actually be a better place if everybody took me as an example? And that's a hard question to ask ourselves, but it could be a good one. Whew, the power in the present moment, once you feel the weight of it, can be very overwhelming. The entire living experience in this meat suit is such a trip. It is one of the best ones out there, is believed. The human experience is definitely a worthy one. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here for it. We wouldn't love ourselves enough to continue with it. Dry, love you. It's nice to have you here, friend. I like to think that I was created to fight for a purpose, that I'm stubborn enough for a reason, right? I like to think of that same trip in like an intelligence way. Like, I believe you are smart enough to have made the right decision to be here and yourself right now. Right? You wouldn't willingly put yourself through suffering. You're here for a reason. You're here for a reason. You're a great example, Malti. Stop it. You have made me reevaluate my experience more than anyone. You have helped me grow in the same way, dear friend. Like, I notice the same patterns that you communicate. Right? And I guess that is why we resonate. It's an understanding that this human experience is something, even though it's divinely unique, each and every single one of us are going through our own divine and unique human experience. It's very similar. The fundamentals are similar, but they are hard, right? It's like a curriculum. Learning how to be a good human goes beyond just being good to others. At least I like to think that. I feel being a good human begets being good to others. But it's a weird experience. There's a YouTube channel called The Weedy Garden by this photographer. He's, I believe, in his 50s. And I see so much of myself in him. The relationship he has with the earth, the deep fascination, the deep love. He has the line that almost made me cry, where he was talking about Mama Gaia, saying, I love the way you look in green. It's the first color you wore the first time I ever saw you. So every single time I see you in it, it makes me think back to that moment. And I was like, bruh, bruh. Something like that. I paraphrased it a little bit, but it was just this like seeing this green, right? Even this fallen tree as like the beautiful dress of Mama Gaia, her clothing. And she is gorgeous. So much visceral beauty, such presence. Yeah. In the same way that you see me, she does too, seeing you. Is that a cable I see? Yeah, but dude, love to you. I can tell you 100% on the right path compared to most. Uncle Becky. Thank you, Brother Bear. We are on the right path, I believe. I'd like to believe, might be some bias, but yes, I believe we are on the right path. Hey, baby. Hey, family. Haywire Hill is here too. Yeah, dude. If we can't go to the Haywire Hill, we bring the Haywire here. Haywire Hill here. Seriously, y'all are amazing humans. Never forget. We are but mirrors to you, Uncle Becky. It's cable. It's a cable you see. It's nice having you, dude. I'll smoke a little bit for you. The intention we had for today's joint is accept everything. Accept everything. What have you come to accept? What have you come to accept, Cable? This is I'm learning to accept right now. This was one of my favorite trees on the whole farm. It was the biggest tree we had on the whole farm. And now it is on the ground. Accept. Fine. I'll accept. Yeah. That'll do it. I'm fine. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Actually, I'm going to do a live talk about my experience in a bit. There we go. Haywire Hill is us. We bring the energy. We literally did. What have I come to accept? Great question. I'm glad with how you're accepting the tree. I had a hard time. Like when it happened, I actually took off my clothing and walked out into the rain. And there was like hail hitting my head. And I was just standing there, freezing. Like my feet were the coldest, weirdly enough. I was like not surprised. I was not expecting that. Like the amount of ice was like literally almost like burning my feet. And I was just like, the cold is going to help me come to acceptance. I feel like I'm disassociating a little bit. How do you accept something? Like, is it something you do? Really? Is it something you actually do? Ah, I accept it. Now it's accepted. Technically, you could accept something by receiving, right? That I can ask you, hey, do you accept this package I'm gonna give you? And then you're like, yes. And then suddenly you receive something. Maybe if I really accept this tree being fallen and I can't get up, I'm so sorry. Maybe then I'll receive peace, calm. Maybe you can receive acceptance by accepting. I feel slowly but surely I'm getting the package. Little by little, I really want to put my hands on that tree. We'll do it. We'll do it, Shan. Before we end the stream, we'll touch it. I know that feeling. Yeah, it's a lot. I know you know, like you had like that massive tree, a part of it fall off over, right? And just that has been like an experience as well. I've accepted multiple deaths this year, the change in my own body after COVID, changes to relationships, lost many lovers and friends this year, accepted it all. I have even come to accept even harder than my own capabilities and gifts to be more confident and secure in those things. Yo, that's some power, Cable. That, those are some good things to accept. I think this year really helped me come to a level of acceptance that I actually don't know anything, right? And to be a little bit more specific, I don't know nearly as much as I would like to believe I do, but I'm learning. At least I would like to believe I am. I had four go in 1 year, 250 plus year old trees, dude. Right? It's like losing a great granddad, right? An entity that has shared its presence with a space for like literally centuries. No, is it a century? Is a century 1,000 years or 100 years? It's a decade, then a century, then a millennia. Was millennia a century? Excuse me. We don't really talk about these kind of time frames, do we? And yet those trees do. They've experienced. They've experienced. Terry Pratchett has a beautiful little excerpt in one of his books of trees communicating over like year time scales. Like because they grow so slow, they communicate really slowly as well. Like they do communicate information, but the information takes a lot longer to decode, right? And it makes kind of sense if you want to try and think about it. Beautiful, beautiful way that he put it as well. I'm willing to accept that my flaws are just as beautiful as the whole of my humanity. Like when the Chinese would break the pot and they would fill the cracks of gold to actuate the mistake. Was that the Chinese or the Japanese? I'm not sure even. 420 Blaze, I'm 420 Blazed. Thank you for joining me, dear friend. It's nice having you. Make furniture of it. What kind of wood? Like you know what? Let me do this. Let me do this. We'll do another little reverse and we'll use this lens. Papierbasboom. I think that's the Afrikaans word for it. I shiz. This is the tree that has that paper-like bark. Thank you, dear tree. This tree has never been touched this high. Shannon was mentioning the same as well. Ew. Like this tree was throwing a lot of thorns on our yard, trying to dodge right now. And this is what the wood looks like. It's not really cut in the thick of it just yet, so I can't really tell how great the wood looks on the inside. Oh man. Even on its side, look at how massive that still is. It breaks my brain. Oh gosh, yes. Yeah, puppy. Hey, you silly thing. Hey, you silly. Oh, where's your way? Where's your way? Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm. Oh, man. That little thorn I stepped in is making my foot itch right now. Yeah. I guess. I guess that's as much as we can see, right? Forgiveness. Oh, shit. Thank you, Pippi. That's nice. She actually just took that thing off. Wow. That's so nice of you. Sweetheart. Oh, I'm stepping more of them, though. Okay, I'm gonna try and dodge. You got something? You got a bone? You got a bone? You got a bone? We're gonna do kitty cam. I wonder if Machi is jealous. I'm not gonna touch her with my hands, because of allergies, but she's really used to me giving her little foot rubs. There you go, Sakach. Mm. Being a catto, and then Pippi, in the furthest, chewing on her bone. I feel they really do teach me so much about acceptance. Right? The fact that I can pet her with my foot. I'm like a being, what, 50 times her size. And then I extend my leg and I step gently on her, and she's like, sick. Brr, brr, brr. Accepting everything. How beautiful. A little bit of a stretch here for her. Forgiveness keeps coming to mind as the route to acceptance, believing that we are all doing our best, leaving no room for blame. Same with others as it is for ourselves. Same for ourselves as it is for others. Completely right. That's a beautiful point. That is a beautiful point, Brother Ryan. Forgiveness. Maybe that is how you accept. It is something you have to do. Thank you for sharing that, Brother Bear. That process of cloth removing, dancing feet sounds beautiful. I'm happy to hear that actually. Gratitude is the best way to accept things. Be grateful for the time and the lessons learned. You accept it continually. Isn't something you have to just, do once. It's something you have to start accepting. That's what I've learned. It's always continual. The death of those people never changes. Although acceptance comes in many forms, and there isn't just one way to go about accepting the events of our past. We all accept differently, I guess, right? In the same way, we all forgive differently. Like there's an understanding that forgiveness is for yourself. That you forgive someone completely from this perspective of freeing both of you. Because for as long as you don't forgive them, you're holding on to something, a simulacrum of your indifference or separation. I just popped in to give you my free spin. Good night. Love you, friend. Thank you for joining us. See you again soon. Going to bed. Good night and sweet dreams. Thank you, Crystal. See you again soon. I find starting stating the truth helps. I repeat the phrase of death and I say my status. They are gone. I'm here. Now what? Now to walk on. To honor them, right? Honor yourself in living because they can't right now. Or they've ceased to. That you living into death because of their death just begets more death, right? So the only option for you two is to move on. Thank you. Like we were having a lot of conversations about death this weekend as well. My aunt would a few times even say stuff like, if my husband dies, all of his stuff that's in the garage is gonna get, thrown away and stuff like that. And I'm just like, bruh, what do I feel as a husband hearing information like that? And yeah, I don't even know how I got there, but accepting death. Maybe that's just the morbid, even comedic acceptance of death. We create our own experience. We always have the choice to create new experiences. We can love that past self and grow, hold on tightly, let go lightly. Vulnerability creates the invulnerable. I really like that actually. Vulnerability creates the invulnerable. We haven't done this in a long time. The things of worth saying book, dude. Yeah, that one is going right in there, Uncle Becky. Vulnerability. Vulnerability. Why can't I read right now? Vulnerability creates the invulnerable. I feel like I'm tripping out, Drow. This experience is something to be cherished. And it's like we go about forgetting just how much there is. Right, like I'm tripping out about the sheer scale of the experience that I'm filtering right now. Right, the space, the sounds, my family inside. I'm hearing my grandma, the body, the fact that that little place where I stepped on a thorn is like creating this itch slash warm vibe energy. The positioning of my body, you friends, experiencing this with me. Breathing, a heartbeat, doggos running around. I'm watching an ant. Let me see if I can. Sorry about that. I accidentally locked my phone. You see that dude? Weird looking ant. Let me see if I can get a better shot. Okay, that's wide. There we go. Isn't that cool? It's really big as well. Like next to my finger. It's pretty big. And they come in different sizes. Like you'll see smaller, almost like baby-esque ones doing the same thing, like trolling around. I don't know what they are. I think they're some sort of ant species. Becky, you said the same thing as me, but differently. And I feel it was very well delivered in this moment to me as well. Like it tripped me out even. Kibble. Only the body of our loved ones leave. The lessons they left us with and the love that they shared with us is what allows their memories to continue through you. Literally. If they're a family of yours, their DNA is alive in you as well. Live thorn acceptance time. That tree makes me sad. Me too. Me too, Maxine. That's why I feel like I'm really embracing this message of acceptance. The Christian metaphor of being forced and purged of the imperfections by fire seems apt to mention here. Yeah, there's already shticks stacked in that thing. Maybe we'll light that on fire. Uh, Symbolically, someone did ask about a bonfire on the farm, so maybe the tree has never been touched this high. Damn, imagine being touched to your core only after you fall. Stop it, you poet, you. You're melting my brain. Oh goodness, that's the best. Whittle wood on the planet, super soft. Maybe we could make like little figurines. I use fire to help let go, Shan. Write down certain things I'd like to release and burn it. It's very therapeutic. Maybe we'll do that as well. Trees are so trippy when you really think about it. I think of them as like fractals exploding out of the ground. That's my favorite description of a tree. It's self-replicating thing. You know, it's an actual fractal. There, good things. It fell the way it did. Yeah, it could have. I mean, technically, it wouldn't have. So, next to this wall, that wall, there used to be a root, right? Like if the tree was standing like this, there was a root growing like under the house. And then they cut like the side of this paving down into the root. You know, you can like see a big like root still there, you know, cut off. So it used to have a support there, and then that support got sheared. So when it got, it didn't have that anchor point anymore and just went. So that's where the forgiveness comes in. I love these adventures. There'll be more. There'll be so much more. I probably should learn how to wear shoes sometimes. I really don't like to anymore. But I step in thorns and I'm like, yeah, that's why people wear shoes. Cartoons agreed completely. Trigger whack. They were the first super species. Like they're the ones eating us, you know, cosmologically. Thinking about the root system beneath you still. Yeah. Yeah, like and I even shared the fact that that happened, the whole roots getting cut, you know. I went through a whole stream about acceptance, about that tree being so wrecked and that root system getting cut as well. How they talk through their roots exactly. That's why I was thinking, I was like, imagine having a whole part of your central nervous system completely sheared, cut off from your brain. You know what? More layers of acceptance, I guess. This planet used to be ruled by giant mushrooms. Yeah, these pillars. They are basically the ones that created the soil that things live in right now, broke things down appropriately. One day we will take lessons from the roots. I hope so. I wish to talk to a tree. You know, maybe it will take a long time, but maybe we could share some sort of messaging. When was the last time you had a tetanus shot? I don't think I've ever had one. I don't think I've ever. Yeah, to be honest, I'm the rule of a mushrooms. Point of view, doggo wants to play. She really does. Every single time I stand up on the stream, it's playtime for her. Katie, so much love. Becky, You can be a mushroom ruler as long as you pray for me for my trips. That sounds sick. Uncle Becky does that for all of us always. Machi is loathing, loafing on the couch next to me. Fantastic. I'm happy that little Caddy is there with you as well. The mushroom rule, you, Uncle Becky. We are at the will of the spores. We have the trip they decided we need. They really do. And I honestly feel that with mushrooms, there always is this air of, I'm being communicated to. Like there is something talking to me right now, trying to be like, hey, oh, sit down. Let's chat about something. When the weather is right, you can hear them pop. I hear a smile. That sounds beautiful. Look at that little kitty. I have a 30-pound cat pinning me down. 15 kilograms? That's a lot of cat. That cat probably weighs like two, if not much. Our kitties really stay small. I don't even know why. I didn't know they made audible noises. That's so neat. The pops, the pops of the mushrooms, I'm guessing. Maybe it's just me making noises. Maybe it's just like the mental pop. Hey, Isaac, thank you for joining us, dear friend. You got catted. Hope you don't have anything, anywhere to be. Isaac, are you friend? Sorry, you're doing so well right there. Don't be sorry. I've been fantastic, Connor. This morning, I'm finally facing the giant monster I want to slay. My work inbox after a week off. But I've been anime grinding all morning and I'm all caught up. Gang, gang, dude. Protagonist thing out there, dude. How are you? How's school? Have you been feeling motivated? Joe Bot and the anti-rot. Here you plot. A spot for love, light, and the pursuit of what's hot. Gang, gang. Isaac, it's so nice having you here in full spirits, dear friend. Sending you so much love. How are you doing? How's Jasmine? How's little Scott doing? How's the weather? How are you? For this raw insight into nature of loss and life. Thanks, Mel. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Cable, for being here with it. All right. Like it would have been what it was, but now that you're here, it's more. And I appreciate that. Been great. Just taking this Christmas break to relax before the school grind starts up again. End of the semester. Good though. So that's something. What's anime? I think he's more been like grinding like an anime character. That's good, man. The end of a year is welcome one. I needed it for sure. I was joking. I've been anime grinding, like fighting my emails and dirt fishing, and currently finishing Jujutsu Kaisen with my wife. Sick it. Maybe how many entries do I have in that book? I like it more than you'd know, Uncle Becky. More still to come. Love you, friends. Thank you for joining us. Have a good one, Dry. Goodbye. Love you, Historian. Thank you for the love as well. Toons and Isaac, Bleach, Thousand Year Blood. Corey sending some love. If nothing is if nothing is revealed, everything is denied. And sharing with a part, you become a whole. Oh, I really got to watch Bleach. I've never seen an episode, dude. Bleach was my first ever introduction to anime. I've been watching the old Berserk. Goodness, yeah, that's another one. Seriously, Isaac, man, you're in for a ride. Yeah, Bleach is pretty cool. It's very, it's very anime, and I guess that's what it's supposed to be. Oh, bro, Berserk is so hard. Yeah, it is. Resub Crunchyroll. I'll put it on the list. Berserk is a hit, a rough go. Include the movie arcs. Yeah, it's definitely not something for kids. Let's just say it that way. Are the movies worth it? I know the newer Netflix show was an abomination. Yeah, Netflix have a timeline and boardroom directors breathing down their necks instead of a complete drive to make art right now. And I hope, I believe Sandman kind of gave me hope for that they have a little bit more of an intention to go a little bit towards the manifestation of good stuff. Don't think Bleach on Crunchyroll, Isaac. Might be in the US, but I have it on Disney. Oh, how about that? We travel the circle with the reference points, allowing us to remember what comes next, just as you feel you know a musician and they touch you even after death. We continue to fill the circle. Oh, sick. I'll check it out. I've got Disney as well. There we go. Thank you for sharing. Beautiful circle analogy. Like we're a part of the same whole. In Afrikaans, our word for universe is heelal. Heel meaning whole, all meaning everything. The whole everything. The universe. The whole everything. Heelal. So yeah, there's nothing ever leaving this all universe. You are the all universe. I don't need the laws of man to tell me what I ought to do. Go up and scream it on the mountain, Tyler's Children. Uncle Becky, in this moment, to my mind, you said it. Thank you for sharing, Brother Bear. Time is a flat circle and the spirit fills it. That's trippy, dude. For some reason in my mind, even though time is a flat circle and spirit fills it in a three-dimensional way, giving it substance. Latunes. There were parts of the movie I had to skip parts because how uncomfortable they made me feel. But they explain a lot about the series. Yeah, I watched all the 979 anime. Seems to be the most true to the source material. The artwork of the books are just too good to transfer it to the big screen. I feel like that just happens to be the way with every adaptation, right? Like there's just so much that you can go into when you're writing a book. Eventually, we'll be able to turn books into interactive 3D universes where we could potentially do better if the person is really curious, right? It might not be as well delivered, but it could be accessible. Katie saying, Melt, I am so sorry about your tree. Thank you, dear friend. I appreciate your condolences. I've had so many weather-related losses like that, and I know exactly how painful it is. Love to you, my friend, and I'm so sorry. Saying you love. Thank you, Katie. I appreciate you sharing some love. Love to you. I'm sorry for your losses too. Like it's a it's a hard thing to accept. And like it's no one's fault, right? I'm like I can't be angry at Mama Gaia for making gusts of wind. Right? If there were no gusts of wind, we would be dry as a desert, within a year. Or maybe not a year. Yeah. Wind is necessary, right? So there's nothing to be angry about. I can forgive even myself, you know. Like I can forgive myself for not anchoring the tree down to the ground with straps. Right? Just to be a little bit silly with myself. Things are okay. I'm accepting. Thank you again, Katie. Were they giant mushrooms or were they just insanely small? They were really big. There's like still fossilized versions of them. And you can see like a person standing next to it and it, sprawls. Love you, Kate. Okay, I know Melt is behind, but this is a good time to share my favorite visual of Jasmine and my trip during the break. Please. Please do. Thank you, Katie, for the love. We were peeking and I could see it rushing over her. And the feeling of simple, pure love and the mushroom tears started. She grabbed a quilt with these little holes that let light through and hid under it. We were under this dark blanket with little holes, and I held her as she cried and closed my eyes. I saw Jasmine as this little bright pink cartoon spaceship flying through a massive space void, very Midnight Gospel style. And as I watched, I reached out to hold her, exploring the universe. And my arms were the space and stars, just cradling her on the journey. And in that moment of course, this is what we do for each other. It's hard to explain, but wow, it was good for me. Normally, I feel like the nervous explorer got a whole other side. Dude. Yes, yeah, like that melted my brain. Most of my experiences, you know, with psychedelics have been solo. And then the experiences I did have with people were usually my male friends. I've never had a psychedelic experiences with someone that I intimately can experience the fullness of life with. I wish that for every single one of you. Some of you already have that. Some of you will continue to have it. Thank you for sharing even a moment of it with me. Susanna's here too. It's nice to have you here, friend. Thank you for sharing some love. Thanks to all of you for your kind words. It actually means a lot to me. We love you, okay? We love you. And it's always nice having you here. But we can only really remind you how much we love you when we have you here. So much. Brian is here too, saying melt at 300 micrograms. I was convinced you were an AI. Thank you for being human. Love you guys. Love you, Brian. I had like 100 micrograms experience day before yesterday, the 25th on Christmas. It was a beautiful one. I wasn't convinced I was. I wasn't convinced I was AI, but I had a moment where I might have been convinced that I was sent back from the singularity. Not as an AI, just as consciousness, right? Because that's what we are. Oh goodness, am I making it? Making it worse? Basically, the thing I was really convinced of is the fact that I believe we're on the right track. And whatever we're doing, we're trying to do something good, right? That we're. I am back at it. Fantastic, dude. Like we're growing. We're growing right now, dude. And if it's not for this process that we're showing up for, something would have been different, right? That we are accepting some sort of responsibility that we've never accepted before. How's it guys? How's it guys? Have a great day, tuners. Love you. Thank you for joining us, dear friend. Going to head out. I love each of you. Sending love to the void. Love to you. Thank you, dear friend. Gonna pull some cards. What's the universe gonna say? Hi, Cuts. I'm gonna see if I can wait for a meow from the Cuts. I said meow. Got a meow. Two cards again. Is it just two cards? Yeah. Have a great day. Yay card. Yeah. Card time. I need to go to the copy. Stone stories and infinite wisdom. Sorry, cards, yeah. Purple. There's very much purple in those infinity symbols. The deep of the ocean, purple around those mermaids and dolphins. Look at that beautiful whale and her calf. And then stone stories, the stories in the stones. I've never seen these before. Maybe like this is gonna be a nice little trip then. Let's see. I feel I want to read Infinite Wisdom first. Infinite Wisdom, 53. Wisdom keepers, the infinity symbol. Whales are denizens. Is that on one Christian's card? That was the card that Christian was wearing a shirt that had a beautiful whale and her calf, on a shirt, like the exact same depiction. And it melted my. I don't know if it was the exact same depiction, but it was the same little simulacrum, I guess. Water and earth, exactly. Water and earth. And I mean, water and earth is what begot this, right? The water one, if we will. And that's why, like, I'm literally reading the water one first as well. That's right. Yeah, it was like brain melting to me. Whales are denizens of the deep, caretakers of oceanic wisdom, and record keepers for the planet Earth. They communicate by means of song, stories, and telepathy. Whales remember how to travel with grace of movement over thousands of miles, following ancient migration routes The four horizontal figure eights or Mobius strips suggest that their wisdom is greater than time and depth. We talked about time and depth in this stream. It is infinite wisdom. Infinite. Pulling this card could find you seeking a measure of wisdom to help you comprehend a situation. Something does not make sense, and you are having difficulty understanding why events are occurring as they are. Quiet your thoughts and allow your consciousness to float in this fluid blue ocean. Tune into the wisdom that the humpback mother or calf embody. You may want to trace an infinity symbol on your forehead or palm, or move your hands in a floating figure eight to help you connect with this infinite wisdom. Telepathically plug in to the records kept by these magnificent cetaceans. Ask this infinite source to offer you the wisdom you require to bring greater understanding to your thoughts. If your inquiry is not one of confusion, this card confirms that you are indeed in touch with insight and good judgment, and you may be assured that your decisions will be sound. Celebrate your own wisdom. Hot damn! Hot diggity damn! And then Stone Stories. Another look at this card. Oh, that's right. Thank you, Jovan, for being here for this as well. This card's kicking my ass. It's kicking my ass. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? I can't even believe it. Yeah. I'm trying to understand, kitty cat. Yeah. Sometimes we want to understand in order to accept, but you have to have infinite wisdom if you ever hope to. Stone Story's core meaning is messages, listening, and hearing. These petroglyphs were borrowed from a site in New Mexico where some 20,000 petroglyphs have been documented. The fret step geometry embedded in this card mirrors the glyphs in the rock art. Stones and crystals are planetary record keepers. They record ancient wisdom and carry messages that other times are considered. Wait a second. They record ancient wisdom and carry messages from other times and dimensions. Sites across the planet where petroglyphs abound are often considered holy places. Humans in co-creation with the divine have carved, pecked, or painted stories in stone that remain today as icons of times past. This card asks you to hear the stories that stones have to tell. What will it take for you to decipher their messages? Seek to quiet your mind and listen with your intuitive senses. Stones reveal meaning when you pay attention. Tune in to their ancient stories. As you sit with crystals, petroglyphs, and stones at sacred sites or simply in nature, recognize that you will hear their message when you learn to listen. Finally, this card requests that you understand how learning to listen will improve your ability to understand far more than these stone stories. You were asked to consciously listen and truly hear every facet of creation, including the people around you and the voice of your own heart. Ek is nou klaar, man. There we go. Listen to the voice of your heart, not mine, not kitties, not the trees. Your heart will serve you infinitely. Thank you, dear friends, for joining me. Sending you love. I still making with you over my third eye daily with frankincense. Gang, gang. Yeah, manifest. Infinite wisdom. The putting of both of them reminds me of a 3D animated short that I used to watch as a kid. The Bird and the Fish. I used to play between shows. I'll post in the Discord if I find it. Please do share that part of you. Thank you, friends, for joining me. Sharing this moment as well. Made me think of crystals Maxine sent me. Yes, like the Stellanite. I don't know if you got some Stellanite as well from Maxine, but the Stellanite has been like one of my favorite pieces. I love you. I'll see you again soon, dear friends. Thank you.